What's up YouTube? Welcome to Koala Gardens. I'm going to show you how I do virtual tours with Wendy from Vision Walk Eco Tours. There's links in the description below to the amazing many different tours that she does. On the virtual tour today, we got to see some terrific, beautiful views of the best girl in the world, Ellie. She put on a lovely little performance for us. So enjoy to watch what happens, the setup, and the kind of stuff we talk about when we're on tour. And now I've got 3 shout outs to do today. So exciting. So firstly, thanks to Richard Van Dort for changing his Patreon pledge to an annual pledge. A huge welcome to Karen de Unionville for joining the Patreon team, and Wendy from Vision Walks Eco Tours. Just when I was about to start editing this video, boom, in came a Patreon joining for Vision Walks Eco Tours. What an amazing thing. We worked together on lots of stuff, and now she's in this family as well. Okay, let's get touring. The way these work is I go out really early on the morning of a tour on my quad bike, find what koalas I've got, and then I'm particularly looking to see if I can find a koala that's in a spot that I'm going to get a clear view through to without all leaves in the way and stuff. And not only that, what's important is at the moment it's summer, and when that tour gets going, it's going to get hot. So I need to also be sure that I can do this from a spot where I can have all of my equipment in some shade. That can actually be quite a tall order, but we managed it pretty well today, and the tour is actually happening right now. I took my new camera, which I'm filming this with, down with me, and have my old camera hooked up to my computer, and you can see there that that is what the people on the tour are seeing. And I'd like to acknowledge the Widjabul people of the Bundjalung Nation, on whose land I live, work and play. I'm Katrina, and I'm passionate about saving koalas. If you haven't been over to my website, koalagardens.net.au, there's lots of great information and historical photos of all the koalas I've ever seen. Loads and loads of stuff to see there. We use Zoom to do these tours, and the way they're set up is Wendy is in a nature reserve area about an hour away from my property at a place called Byron Bay. She's at a place where it can be really hard to find koalas, but there's lots of wildlife there, and she can usually find koala scat and evidence of koalas. But Wendy is our amazing tour guide, and she does a lot of the presentation, and then together we both answer any questions that the people might have as we're going through the tour. And of course I provide the koalas. Look at how Ellie has just decided to completely ignore me. I have an earpiece in, so Ellie can't hear Wendy talking, but she will hear me, of course, if I'm talking back. But as you know, because you watch my videos regularly, I am a long way away from Ellie, in fact. So what we're doing, as you can see, is not disturbing her in the very least. The only thing that's waking her up is insects or other things going on right up there in the treetops. These virtual tours are great because they're actually quite affordable, and if you get a group of people together, there is a limit, but you can have a lot of people come and do a tour all at once. And we have text chat, so people don't normally speak much by voice. It makes it really easy. If people think of questions, they write them in the text chat, and then we do question times, and usually one person in the group kind of coordinates things for us both. So we're not going to replicate the tour here in this video, but what I am going to do is give you a bit of an idea of what happens when we do these tours, because these tours last for a full hour. Wendy and I make a great team on these tours because Wendy is an ecologist and she has this beautiful broad knowledge of a lot of things outside of just koalas. And when I say just koalas, you know what I mean. My focus is more to do with koalas and their habitat, but it means that together we can deliver a lot of really interesting information. And let me just say to you, Wendy is the most enjoyable person to listen to. This also turned out to be a great opportunity for me to work for an hour with my new camera, which was really great because I'm still learning how to use it. And that super thanks button below is one of the ways that I was able to get this new camera a lot faster. I'd been saving up for it for some time, and then people have thrown money in there, and I'm still buying all sorts of accessories and extra bits of equipment to go with it. I'm absolutely thrilled with the camera as I learn all the ins and outs of it, and I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who has helped make this possible, because just look at this gorgeous girl Ellie, who's up there in the treetops giving us the most beautiful display. I must say though, how she's kind of sitting on that little stick that's under her butt just fascinated me the whole time the tour was on. The tour starts, as you might imagine, with us finding out where people are coming from, what makes them interested in koalas and our Australian wildlife. And then once we have sort of set the scene of who Wendy is, who I am, a little bit of history about the property and what's going on here and the koala that we're looking at, I like to give a little bit of the backstory of who the koala is. For example, you might notice, because you know Ellie well, that Eddie's not here today. So Ellie and Eddie are doing this hilarious dance in separating, and I'm going to do another video about that in the next couple of weeks because what's going on between them is hilarious. So I talk about that sort of thing, about the property, and then Wendy gets down into a really good deep dive about marsupials, what they are, not just koalas, all the marsupials, and then about some of the intricacies of koala biology. If you've been following my channel for some time, you probably already know quite a lot of those facts. But what I love about doing a virtual tour is because we have a live audience and people are interacting with us, we never tell the story of koala biology the same way any single time, because we get people asking different questions that take the discussion into different deep dive areas. And of course, the particular koala that might be with us when we're doing the tour will influence how that story might get told. Because, for example, we got to talk quite a bit about that separation process of a mother and her older Joey, and the whole thing about how mums will have another Joey in pouch by the time that happens. Oh, no. I'll save that for the Ellie and Eddie separation video that I do a little bit later. Another thing that I love about doing the tours is I often learn things when I do tours. Now, what happens is, as soon as you start explaining and breaking down information to talk about it with other people, guess what? You learn something as well. So it's really extra exciting for me whenever I get to interact with people about koalas, because I learn stuff every single time. I've also learned quite a lot of things from Wendy over the couple of years we've been working together, because Wendy knows things that I don't. And now at this point of the tour, Wendy normally starts to talk about a lot of the history of white men coming to Australia, the way things began to break down as we began destroying habitat, brought invasive species in with us, etc. Wendy talks really well about the hunting of koalas, and I learned things about just exactly how that was stopped that I'm going to leave as a surprise for if you decide to get a bunch of people together and come and do a virtual tour. I'm going to let Wendy tell the story to you, because I love hearing it every single time. It's always extra great when we're doing a tour and the koala we're watching actually wakes up and gets a little bit active like this. So Ellie's got an itch. She keeps scratching at her butt with her hand and then using her teeth to scratch through to different parts. That koala fur is so thick that if they've got an itch, it's actually hard for them to really deal properly with that itch, because getting through to the skin is not as easy as it might seem. And when it's in one of those tricky spots, and you got to consider she's about 20 metres up a tree having this little bit of a scratch here. So she is an extraordinary contortionist and a balance artist, absolutely for sure. But oh boy, she really can't quite get that. And now it's time to just have a little bit of a back stretch, you know, when that lower back gets a bit stiff, and get comfy again. Can you imagine getting to watch this kind of thing live with us? It's a real treat. At this point in the tour, we normally stop for a little bit and open up a question time. So if people have been putting text questions into the chat, then Wendy and I work through them one by one, and we kind of play a bit of a tag team, because sometimes it's like something that Wendy might be best to answer. Sometimes it's a question about the actual koala, or more things about my property, or things about koala rescue and rehab that happens in the area. And so we'll kind of just play together as a team, answering the questions with as much detail as we can. And let me tell you, we get some really amazing questions. I just love it when I can see that people are engaged in what we're doing and want to ask more things on a deep level. once we get through and do some great question answering, we usually move on to begin to talk about the types of koala habitat, the types of trees. Wendy, it's a great thing about having us as a tag team because Wendy can walk around because she's doing her part of the tour with a phone, which is much more portable. I have to have my camera that's hooked up to the computer on a tripod sitting very still, and she will pick up leaves, pick up koala scat, and we can start to talk about things about koala digestion, why koalas need to live in particular habitat, why it's so important for us to increase the amount of habitat that we've got, all of that sort of thing, which becomes another fascinating discussion. And of course, when koalas get on the move during a video, we just have to pause the conversation and watch what happens. I actually had to get myself across to the camera that was recording for the live tour and begin to adjust this because I could see that Ellie is going to jump, but I couldn't get across and work between the two cameras. Here she goes, jump. I love it. But she went out of view of this camera because I was adjusting the other one. The old camera that's hooked up to the computer was sitting at the back of the quad bike, and the new camera that I'm filming with now was sitting on a tripod at the front of the quad bike, and I just couldn't physically run from one spot to the other. And now you can see how far away we actually are from Ellie. And that is how we do a virtual tour. You might find that this is a great add-on to watching Koala Gardens videos, is to join up one day and do a virtual tour with us. We never know in advance who we're going to see, so it's a bit of a luck of the draw. And you've done it, you've made it to the end of another Koala Gardens video. So would you take a moment to write in the comments below, virtual heaven. Thanks for watching. As you know, there's going to be lots more great koala video coming your way very soon. Don't forget, there's links below in the description to the virtual tours, to lots of other koala stuff, Patreon links, etc. And if that's not enough and you're looking for a gift for someone, hop over and check my Redbubble shop, because I can guarantee there is a design there that will please, and there is something there for everyone.